Oh,
You know what song? Calvin. I can't hear a goddamn thing.
oh, sorry.
God, no.
You know what? This is like the equal opposite of the Immigrant Song, but Immigrant Song goes way harder.
Do you reckon?
Oh yeah.
I
want to listen to a nonce wailing. I mean, not it's like shitty 60s mastering,
much
but like
hiss.
yeah, exactly. Because we recorded this in the bin of a hotel because we like the sound.
we hate the man.
The ice and snow, the midnight
bin
sun,
man.
and the hot springs glow. Hammer of the gods. We drive.
What's your
our
favorite Led
ships
Zeppelin
to
album?
New land. The best of Led Zeppelin.
Same. Mothership. Controversial. I like the first Led Zeppelin album. It's my favorite.
I respect anyone who likes the album from when a band was shit.
Yeah.
Like Bleach is my favorite Nirvana album.
Great album.
It's a great album.
Great album.
It's a very good album.
My favorite Led Zeppelin song is Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You.
Babe, 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 babe.
I know. It's another one of
That
them.
shit was like the funniest thing in the world to me when I was 15. Honestly. Speaking of Rage Against the Machine,
Yeah.
great band. Don't hold a fucking candle to System of a Down though. And we're talking about political metal.
Yeah.
God damn.
Not damn. Toxicity, 2001.
I would pay
Same year the
500.
towers
But
went
I
down.
would.
Coincidence? I think not.
I would pay £500 to go see System of a Down. They're like the last band on my list that aren't
Really?
dead or gone. They're like my Tool.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I seen Tool and I didn't like them.
Yeah.
I was furious about that.
Were you too old? Yeah, so
Arena. I think that's what ruined it. I think if I was steaming in a crowd, even a festival, I probably would have been like, this is class. But in the Manchester Arena.
Stop being such a buzzkill, man. Who are you to wave your finger?
Who are you to wave your finger? You must have been.
Calvin, can we pause the Led Zeppelin?
Play the
There
pop.
was a guy in my hometown. To start out, there was a pub in my hometown that served us all when we were like 16. It was like down the road from the fucking high school. Hell yeah. Excellent pub.
We had one as well.
It's
too.
closed now, if you can
It
believe.
was like the boar's head or something, or was it something to do with a pig? I can't remember.
But they had one of those, like a modern style jukebox.
Yeah.
Not like a Swan jukebox, like a digital jukebox.
like a screen that has
Yeah.
60 bands on it, and that's it. Yeah.
And they didn't have much like rock. They didn't even have much roll music. But what they had weirdly was quite a lot of Tool. And there was a guy who was like obsessed with Tool. And it was the funniest thing in the world because it used to be like 50p to put a song, and he'd come in with like a $5 in pound coins. I just play that entire album like 3 times in a row. So you just hear the pot like 6 times on a Friday.
In the one pub.
Yeah.
There's a guy in Castleberg
good.
that used to, I forget who the fuck it was,
Shout out to
but he used to just come in and put the song Ride the Lightning on over and over and over and over again. So every so often just do, but like
Was that the only like Metallica song on the whole jukebox?
I don't even think so.
Or
He
he just
he just kept playing. From the Bells Tolls, that's it. From the Bells Tolls, not Ride the Lightning. Sorry, I messed it
He'd
up.
just be talking, he'd just in the back of the, oh no.
Bong.
Ask not who for whom the bell tolls.
Best Metallica album?
Oh, there is no such thing.
You don't like Metallica?
No.
You never had a Metallica phase as a child?
No. I liked Dio.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Magic
just skipped all
Dios.
that shit.
Yeah, that was my. I
I
was in
preferred
Metallica phase.
Megadeth.
You were one of them.
I think I heard Hangar 18 on Guitar Hero 2, and that was it.
Yeah,
I don't like Megadeth particularly either, to be honest.
that is. I think that's a titular moment. Is what band do you like the most as a child?
Megadeth. Dave Mustaine, is that his name?
Yeah.
he's just way less embarrassing than.
No,
but,
he's not, lad.
But is he not?
Is
I've not liked.
I've read his book.
Oh well, that mistake number one. He's mistake number one. Right?
His whole book is him being like, "I'm a black belt and I could beat you up."
See, fuck Metallica. I'm batter yours all.
He wrote a song about the IRA and he could batter you.
That he could batter the whole IRA.
About, I think, everyone.
It's just like
he just told loads of stories where
awesome.
bouncers would try to beat him up and they'd just over the shoulder.
See, there's one good rock autobiography, I think, which is Slash's, which was good.
I think I've read
It was a good one. And then I tried like the Red Hot Chili Peppers one. Terrible.
Yeah.
Nikki Sixx's one.
Yeah.
I didn't even like Motley Crue. You know what I mean? I think someone's was like Heroin Diaries is really good. I was like, I don't even like this band. Why didn't I buy the book?
The book's good. I like the book.
Nah, never bothered with it. I got to like page one. I was like, why am I doing this?
I fucking hate Motley Crue.
But
I seen Motley Crue like 2 years ago.
Megadeth are pretty lame. But
they are now. As a 15-year-old, Megadeth were sick.
Yeah.
Called Megadeth.
How could they be any cooler? But Metallica are much more quotable and therefore better.
Yeah.
Can you do a good James Hetfield?
Give me fuel.
No.
Give me fire. Give me double jackets.
Ooh.
The table.
We're the crown king.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, who's that? That's the fella from Disturbed, isn't it? He's always doing some kind of weird noise, isn't he?
Yeah. There's that one bit in Down with the Sickness. You know what I'm talking about.
The bit where he talks about the abuse that never happened.
Yeah.
That fucking weird.
And it's like, it's not even a good like mind lose bit. I think.
Yeah, you absolutely ruined that song.
And it's like, it's a good like bop, and then goes to this.
And when I dream.
32 bar fucking 4 chord repeated thing.
Is that like a vocalist solo then? Is that what that counts as? Talking about the abuse which you never actually suffered.
The early 2000 metal scatted. That's what that whole section is.
There was quite a lot of scat, to be fair. There was quite a lot. There was
What?
What do you mean?
Where's the scat?
In Disturbed?
Oh, wow.
You see, Jen loves Disturbed, so I've had a lot of time, me and David, just there.
Oh.
Oh. He's like a sick cat, isn't he?
Yeah, the big Metallica one where I'm from was Turn On, I See Red.
What one's that?
I don't know. Battery? I don't know.
No, that's not battery.
Turn on, I see red.
I don't know.
I'm the table.
I'm the table, the Lou Reed one. That was bad.
What was Lou Reed doing? What was Metallica doing? You know, it was like, like the Lemmy movie. It's him and Dave Grohl recording a song together.
Yes.
And you go, that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. But Lou Reed and Metallica. Like,
Yeah. My favorite one of those films that doesn't make sense is It Will Be Loud. You ever seen that?
It might get loud.
Might get loud.
Fucking Jack White. I was upset. First of all,
So
I was
Calvin,
obsessed
have you
with
seen
that
this film before we continue?
No.
It's
Jack White,
Jimmy
Page,
Yeah.
and The Edge.
The Edge. How is The Edge?
What's the Edge doing there?
Exactly. And it's
Oh.
really funny.
Hold the phone. I was talking to this about someone the other day.
Hello,
actually.
this is Low Poly episode 39. We're talking about rock and
You
roll
won't
music.
believe what happens this episode, guys.
Yeah. Jimmy Page did what?
We all know that. Challenge, we're not allowed to make a nonce joke about Jimmy Page. On top of Calvin's challenge that he's not allowed to show us a 25-minute video.
Impossible.
Yeah, but we'll try it. Try not to call Jimmy Page a pedophile challenge. Impossible. Well, yeah, it's Jimmy Page. Anyway.
We should make a load of thumbnail photos so I can make like
No, you've been trying to get me to do that for like a
and I
year
keep
now.
because you know what? Every thumbnail I make, I'm like scrolling for the Josh ones. Like, come here, let me find a fucking
my
good one.
deadpan ass face. Yeah, it's Jimmy Page, it's Jack White, and it's The Edge. And it starts with Jack White making a little guitar on a 2x4 of wood, like a little slide guitar. It's kind of cool with a Coke bottle, but he's insufferable.
Jack White.
Oh, he's just the because Jimmy Page is like obviously megastar. He's not that bothered. They've obviously just given him a fat sack of cash. But Jack White's really like into the art.
Yeah.
But I remember a line he says where he goes, like someone's asked him, what do you think will happen? And he's just there smoking in his little waistcoat like a shit Italian waiter, you know what I mean? Like a Frenchman who's never seen the sun. And he's just like, what's going to happen? probably a fist fight. And it's like, you never.
Shut the fuck up, Jack Shite.
Nice. And it just turns out the Edge is just a chill guy.
Yeah.
No, but
he's just a cool guy from Dublin who's bought a load of pedals.
Oh yeah, it starts. He's
That's
got like a
his whole thing. He's
studio
bought-
on. It must.
bought
Is it on the
pedals.
Liffey or something? I don't know. He's got
Yeah.
a studio like on the Liffey, which is lovely. And he's just got a wall of pedals, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And as a kid, I was like, I think I'd rather be the Edge. Like, I don't. I just want to mess about.
Jack White
I just want to make my
concept.
ambient soundscape album, please. Like, I don't want to be good at guitar.
Yeah, I think that's what happens when you get older.
Looking man, Jack White is.
He looks
Oh,
like a Tim
yeah,
Burton
man.
character. You know what I mean? Like if you made another puppet film,
Why the fuck's that not working?
because you're bad at computers.
Can you just-
Thank you. Yeah, like they're just. But my favorite thing,
yeah, he is
my favorite thing is obviously they're asking each other about their songs, right, Calvin?
Mhm.
And they're obviously asking Jimmy Page, like, how did you come up with Kashmir? You know, do Stairway to Heaven, like all of that Immigrant song, even. And they're saying to Jack White, you know, like Seven Nation Army, blah blah blah, like all the Raconteur songs, all that kind of thing. And no one asks the Edge about any of his songs. They ask about like Joshua Tree. And they ask about Bono, but they don't ask. They don't ask about the Edge.
Aww.
Because they all figure it out. You just put it on 16th notes and delays, and you've got the Edge.
That is pretty much it. To be
That's
fair,
it.
it's just there's a video of
Dotted
him in
16th notes.
in a stadium playing dotted 16th notes with a ton of delay, and everyone's going wild for it. To be fair to him,
Buck wild. You two are big. Do you like you two?
I like Joshua Tree, but that's
I
like
like
saying
Joshua Tree.
that's like the most basic answer ever, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like saying I like bread. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, everyone likes bread. No one name me an album that isn't Joshua Tree.
What other band? Nah,
Sunday
no idea.
Bloody Sunday?
Sunday. I like that song.
Yeah, that song's incredible. But
Yeah. You two have a few.
every Irish
big
band
uns.
gets a free one though.
Yeah,
They get a
of
free
course.
one about the Ra. That's it.
Yeah.
And after that,
You make a podcast. Talk about
Cranberries.
it every time.
Shit. They're not. You too. Shit. They are.
Little Irish bands are there.
Furies.
Who?
The Furies?
Why don't I know
The
who Furies are?
Dubliners.
The Dubliners.
No,
Let's go. Pop rock sensations.
Sinead.
Sinead O'Connor's pretty
That's
good.
the three, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who have you got since then?
I quite liked Codaline.
Who?
Codaline. I remember
Codaline.
Codaline.
Yeah, they had some good tunes. If a soppy, poppy.
Okay, well,
wank.
I don't like that. Sounds quite nice, but I don't like the sound of listening to Soppy Poppy Wine.
Is it weird? I've been out of Ireland now for so long.
You're not in touch with the culture anymore.
Like, but honestly,
You're
but
like
like
Drake.
I'll like hear an Irish person be like, "Oh, this stupid patty fuck."
You really are naturalizing to
Yeah.
the rest of us.
Yeah.
Why won't this guy shut the fuck up? Unless you're drunk and you're like, I hope he'll be my friend.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
I like drinking. Haven't lost that, brother.
Yeah.
What you been up to, lad? What games are good to drink to?
Before we talk about none of them. None of them. Before that, I got a bit of business to clear up.
Okay.
So last time you were talking about Persona, weren't you? I think.
Yes,
Which
the kanji, which
Yes.
I have completed that now, and I do have opinions about that.
So I talked to my friend Stam,
Mm-hmm.
and he went, happy to get a shout out, buttering me up.
Ooh.
Don't know about that. I'm not going to read anything. That was spite. He went, it's not that he's not gay. It's just that he's afraid to be who he really is.
Yeah.
Whereas other character thinks they'll never be accepted if they live their life as they want to be. Kanji thinks he should just hide who he is. But he explicitly says that it's not about guys or girls. It's just about being who he wants. And that's because of his feminine hobby, which I think, and we're switching over to me now, is that because he likes things like sewing and feminine stuff, is that he, in his stupid 15-year-old brain, thinks that liking girly things must mean that he's gay.
Yeah.
And so the part of him that he's scared to accept is that he might be, because he's tied it to the actions that he's doing, not how he's actually feeling.
Which I do appreciate. And from actually finishing that level and now having an opinion on it rather than immediately being like, I know exactly what this game is, Josh.
Mostly men mean he's gay.
Gay. Well, it does literally start off with this like gay parody TV screen that's like men only sauna. And it's a whole bit. But like obviously that's the darkness. And I do agree with you.
Steady on.
No, for kanji, for the Japanese character kanji.
You know, that absolute nightmare.
Yeah, but he.
Gays on TV. What are you on about?
That's what it is.
So
It's the plot of Persona 4. But yeah, no. But I feel like they've done a little bit of a cop out. I think they.
I actually agree with that.
I think they could. I should think they should have doubled down, because there are parts in the like the jovial, like you're having fun at school scenes in Persona where Yosuke is talking about getting a motorcycle so he can get girls to hug him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know the scene.
We've all been there.
familiar
We've
with
all-
the
yeah,
idea.
yeah, yeah.
Did you actually, Calvin? Just take a quick pause.
Yeah,
Did you actually? Is that the reason you wanted a moped?
I considered it.
You live in the middle of nowhere, and the main reason you wanted a mode of transportation
transport
was
the
so
horse.
girls.
For close proximity.
Interesting.
So yeah, so this plot of Calvin's life you play out in Persona 4, and then Yosuke's bike breaks down because a fat woman sits on it, and that's the joke.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then Kanji's like, "You can get on my bike," and then when he gets on, he's like, "Oh, this is what you meant." So there's a lot of still like they jab at it,
Yeah.
but never go any deeper, and like it's almost like they were on the cusp of doing something that Japanese culture games never really do, and to actually have proper conversations about these sorts of things. There's an anime I watched fucking recently called what was it called? It was really good. It was on Disney Plus.
Yuri on Ice.
No, no, that
Was a
That
good
was
anime.
pretty good.
I like that. That was pretty good.
fuck. Kitty will know. God. Heavenly Delusion. That's it. Heavenly Delusion. It where the plot is like a character dies who's a boy, and
Whoa.
this is a spoiler for like the second episode, but wakes up and basically his sister gives up her body to like so he can live, basically, so he lives in his sister's body. That's like one. That's like just like
That's like the weirdest.
it's like 2% of the plot, by the way. It's generally really good. But I thought they were going to go down a trans route because they kind of brought it up and were like, yeah, I'm a dude. And because they live in this like post-apocalyptic world, there was like no way to survive as that sort of thing. And there's I thought it was like, oh, this is a really interesting route they're going to go down. And they're like, oh no, he's just in his sister's body. And it's like
funny.
not trans at all.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck.
There's another character in Persona 4 that is worse than Kanji for that.
Oh, really?
I think that's probably my biggest criticism with some of the Persona thing is they do play it very safe, and I know it's made for children, but I assume there are gay children in Japan in much the same way that I assume there are trans children in Japan. And I think it might be nice to show a little bit of representation there. But they do play that kind of stuff for laughs, which is it's just.
Yeah,
I mean, I know it was like 2007 or whatever. But
Yeah, it was. And like there's a bit where they go into the same tent and Yosuke says to Kanji, "Are we safe around you? You might be gay."
Yeah.
Like,
I actually don't mind that as a line because he's like he's supposed to be a fucking idiot 15-year-old, but you know what I mean, like because there's never any payoff
yeah.
to it. It doesn't need to be paid up, but because if he was just like, yeah, that's who I am.
But he never ends up accepting himself.
He does.
Okay,
He says it's fine.
Again, I've only played
just-
2/3 of the game.
He's just scared of being rejected for who he is. But he like that of it. But I think the reason, apart from the really macho gay bathhouse that his dungeon is, you know what I mean? I think that it's a really common misconception. And the other character, there's also a very common misconception about them. And I think it's because it's coded in such a way that like it seems quite obvious. Especially looking at it now, you're just like, oh well, why didn't they just kind of pull the trigger with that? It's kind of lame.
Have you ever watched the show
Have you ever?
Queer Eye for the Straight Guy? Queer Eye. You know Queer Eye?
I've seen both versions.
Have you seen Queer Eye in Japan?
I
They
watched,
only did like 3 episodes of it.
Aren't they all terrible people?
Isn't
Isn't everyone on?
Not every gay person is terrible, Josh. Come on.
Just most of them. Just 4/5 of them. No, I think. Oh, it was the long-haired one, Jonathan. It's just awful. It's Calvin. We're not watching.
Yeah, we don't need.
I don't need to see that.
It's generally really good. It's very emotional, but like they talk to because there's a lot of just straight Japanese people, but one of the episodes is a gay Japanese man,
Yeah.
and what he describes of what Japanese culture is to gay people is like, yeah, no, it's extremely homophobic, and there's like specific sects of like the way that like New York would be in like the 1960s in New York. That's what like Japan is now. Where there's like you go in certain spots and like there's. there's gay towns and it's shunned about in society.
Oh, really?
So I thought Persona 4 was going to do something very interesting, knowing
Yeah.
that fact, and it didn't.
In a game with
Still very
absolutely
good, though.
zero stakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
But do games need to make a commentary, or maybe they just want to make a
game should. You lose nothing by doing it. You know what I
think
mean? You just piss off a bunch of losers.
bunch of
Why
pencil
not?
necks?
This is the thing. Like, if there was more representation, why actually is that bad? You know what I mean? You don't have to make the main. It doesn't have to be Persona is now about being a gay teenager who has romances with other gay teenagers. You can just have gay characters, and it's fine. Like in Persona 5, there's characters who are like cross dressers, and they're just played for laughs. They're just played as like pervy men who dress as women, and who are like overly effeminate sort of thing. And you just think like, and they do the Tumblr thing where they bait two of the characters as being like, like with Sherlock and shit like that, where they're just like, ooh,
But what if?
he's obsessed with you, but in what way?
In what way?
Um,
In a way that you want to draw it in DeviantArt, maybe.
yeah, I
Maybe.
guarantee you, it's the most famous cross on DeviantArt for
Why doesn't
Persona
anyone
5.
draw us on DeviantArt, lad?
Just you wait, bud.
You
Just
don't need
you
to.
wait. Someone will come back to that.
Just find the footage.
It's
It's there.
hidden, and we put a frame of us goosing in every episode. And the first one to put them all together will actually win a prize, and it's not just watching that. I started reading a manga called Centuria, which you might like.
Centuria,
It's
okay.
about, I'm going to skip through it because we spent a lot of time talking about representation, and I don't want to just focus on Bash in Japan because that was very season 1 move from you before your character fully developed,
Yeah.
before you blossom into a real girl.
Into the man that I am today.
It's about a guy who's a slave, and he's trapped on a ship with 100 other slaves. There's a storm, so the captain's like kill 100 of the slaves, but accidentally begins part of like a ritual where you have to give 100 lives and do something else. And this main character gets the power of 100 people and the lives of 100 people, so he can die 101 times, I assume.
Oh shit.
Before we do it, there's 26 chapters of it. It's very dark so far.
Is it finished or no?
No, it's still going. The last chapter just ended with him drowning one of the villains, which is cool.
Oh,
Who
hell
controls water, which was very like light at the end of Death Note, where he turns into a massive bitch and he's like, "Ooh, please don't kill me." Very same thing. It's like, where's your water now, punk? Anyway, that's really good. You know what I wanted to talk about today though is that I've finished all my games. I've not, but I don't want to play anymore.
Oh, so like any game that you were playing, you have
Yeah,
got
I'm
to
done.
completion.
I'm done with it now. I'm done with it all. And I'm just at the point now where I'm like, I don't know what game to play. And I wanted to know, how do you choose a new game?
As in from my back catalog.
Because I think, just in general, because I have bought a game. I've not played it yet. So it might be that I just
What have you
bought it
bought?
after now. It's called Corpus Edax. Calvin, can you do this?
Mm-hmm.
We'll soon find out. Corpus. Corpus. Oh, bang, first try.
Oh, boom, in.
Get that trailer up on Steam, I suppose.
Calvin, just while we're in an in between, can you put on the high frequency remover on the master channel, please?
Oh, is that coming through again?
You're a squeaky little bitch, Calvin. And it's just you fucking
wow.
bash people. It's like, it's an immersive sim, but you throw chairs at people. And I went,
A lo-fi sci-fi world.
I was like,
that. I
yeah,
like
that'll
that
do
tagline.
me. That'll do me. I'm interested here. It looks like shit. But I really struggle with this because for like last week, I've just gone up to my office and I'm just been like, I don't really know what to play. I don't really want to play anything.
You're in a new environment. I know you've moved quite recently, and it's
Indeed.
you have a different space. You've went from the very cozy bedroom that you've been PC gaming for so long, drinking cans, fucking being a slob. Now you're an adult, Josh.
I'm drinking cans in a separate office.
Yeah,
It's quite cold.
but maybe it's just a change of the wind, change of the
this is
seasons.
it. It's like I had a plan after I was playing Elden Ring to play Armored Core, but it's £50 and I'm so poor right now. I can't just pay £50.
Let's see, because I fall foul to this all the time because I'm a fucking idiot. I buy lots of games, and I'm like, yeah, sick. Like I bought Liza P because it was £30. I was like, it might be
It
£30.
might never be £30
£30.
again.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, I'll get to that at some point. And I really want to play Liza P.
Yeah.
But I just was like, I have also so many other things I'm going to play before Liza P. Finished Space Marine 2, so I do need to move on to some other bits.
Oh, this is good. So we're in the same boat, aren't we?
Yeah.
Where
I
it's
mean,
like-
I am playing through Persona 4 because I got the Steam Deck and went a little bit cocoa nuts and bought so many fucking games on Steam. I have so many that I do have a specific path of like, I'm going to do Persona 4 and then,
nice.
and I don't know if I'm going to go straight into Persona 5. Possibly. I might be too much. I might have to I might have to do a bit of a gap.
I don't think you can double dip RPGs,
No.
to be honest.
I play 2 games at once.
Oh, that's wild to me.
I play a console game and I play a handheld game is what I do. So I have a Steam Deck one, which is Persona at the minute, and then I was playing through Space Marine and Astrobot before that.
I'm just looking through the games that I've played since Elden Ring, and they're all really small. It's like Goose Game, World of Horror, Wildfire, Valheim, Life Eater, Wizard Legend,
Yeah,
Crow Country, which I've been mispronouncing for 2 episodes.
Yeah, you've been doing like little
Little
smaller
small games.
chunks.
Yeah.
Which and you because you don't want to spend the money on the expensive
Well,
games.
It's more like I'm just really struggling to find something that I can just dedicate a lot of time to. Like Wizard of Legend, I just wish there was more of it because it was just fun to play. And I mean, I kind of brain off.
Isn't
right
there
now.
a sequel coming out very soon?
I think it's out soon, but I don't like.
It's like 3D, isn't it now? Yeah, they've
I'll
changed that
I'll
stuff.
try it. I will try it, but it's also early access, and it's like, well, maybe if I just wait 5 years, like I did for the last one, it'll be really good. I don't like it when games move art style from 2D to 3D. I don't think it like rivals of Ether. I played that loads,
Yes,
and now
that's
it just
right.
changed from what it was, which was unique, to Smash. Like literally just melee. And I think that's lame. It's lame enough already. I don't need to be an extra lame. So that's where I'm at. I really struggle.
I think a lot of people are put off by pixel art though. I
Maybe.
think that we are of a certain ilk that will be like, hell yeah, pixels are cool. I don't only need X amount of colors. But I do think like people will see pixel art because if you ever talk to someone and they only see graphics and they only see things like they have like someone who's looked at a game that they might have not played and were like, I won't play that game because it's old.
Because it looks too bad. I get that to some extent, to be honest. Like the first time you play something from the 90s and you can't, it doesn't come with mouse look. So you turn with like E and Q and it's horrible. And you just think like, how the fuck did people actually do this? Or like the original Tomb Raiders on PC, you jumped with space, but you like grabbed with control and you drew your weapons with alt and you shot with like Z or something like that. So you were just like, well, you didn't use the mouse at all really. And it felt like absolute dog shit. It was awful. So I can kind of get it. I'm lucky that I grew up with crappy graphics. I think is what it is.
Do you think, Calvin, you said this to me the other day, was it? Or did I see it on the internet? One or the other. Calvin's in my life a lot. It's someone basically, I think it was an internet thing. Sorry, Calvin. You're not this interesting.
I know.
Where someone was basically like our age demographic of. Like,
I sent you this.
Did you send me this? Right. It was my other friend. Got it. Yeah.
50-50 shot, Calvin. Better luck next time.
Where we grew up in the best demographic because we've got to see the growth of video games and we grew up with them being a little bit shitty, but like we could see the improvement so intensely, and we grew up with it kind of just starting. I know it's the 90s and it still had loads of years before that, but I feel like games really came into themselves in the 90s and really found themselves in the 90s compared to fucking from going to arcade and 8-bit graphics. You know what I mean?
I don't think I would have stuck with it if it was arcades only, to be honest. Like, you know how you die? I'd be like, well, we had Pac-Man in my day. You know what I mean? Like,
because like my dad loved the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Did he?
Big 1986 fan. OG. Got it in Woolworths and Strabane. Bars. But like then just kind of gave up on it. Whereas I feel like where we went in, it almost like games were good enough that we're like, oh yeah, this is immediately good.
Yeah.
And then we could like the improvements were so vast and so readily happening. Like every generation was a massive fucking bump up in quality. That where we are now in the land of diminishing returns,
You know what's wild though? I think not to be like back in my day, we realized how lucky we were, but I think we were just a lot happier with whatever we had. I think people now are obviously sport for choice. Calvin, can you Google Jurassic Park Trespasser? You ever seen this?
What the fuck
You heard
is
about this?
Have you seen this?
Oh,
I've not seen this or heard about it.
It's like an incredible game. Can you play a video but just mute it, please? Because I think is there like a trailer or something?
1998.
Not a 38-minute or just something, something but mute it. Just something but mute it. Like I just want to see. I want to show you the thing. Okay. Just fucking go, right. So if we show, so this was really innovative for its time. Look at that. Look at the graphics. And the idea, I think, is that you controlled
Rugrats ass.
You controlled your arm with the mouse. Okay, this is not accurate to the actual thing because they knew how much what a fucking dog shit game it was. But just go on, just click on a random video and just skip through. Yeah, just skip through, right? Okay. So this is what it actually looked like.
Just 6
FPS. Right, and you controlled your arm with the mouse.
What, like Octodad?
Yeah, look at him. You see?
Oh my God.
So very innovative, and you play a woman in this game.
Oh wow.
You play a woman in this game, and you check your health by looking at your tits. You've got like a heart tattoo. And it gets smaller as you get nibbled by dinosaurs.
Yeah, but that is very interesting.
And I played the demo for this game, and it's genuinely dog shit. Like I don't think I could fire the gun. It was not
so this is a PC 1998 Jurassic Park game.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And you think about seeing the trailer for this, right? Again, and just being like, holy shit.
Floppy ass arm?
Yeah.
What the this is nuts.
Obviously the game is terrible, and this is like a famously bad game.
Yeah.
But I think we played a lot of stuff where it was better than this, and we were like, you know what, that was fine. I'm happy with that. Now, it feels like everyone's on. Like I know there's like popular YouTube channels who are like, actually, Elden Ring shit. You know what I mean? And you just think like, I know it's subjective,
Got him.
but when you're like, you know what, like fucking, can you mute me, Calvin? Can you mute all the microphones? I don't know why I'm doing this. You know Joseph Anderson.
Who? Sorry, I can't hear you.
You know Joseph Anderson.
Yes.
Hate him.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
re-mic me, Calvin. I hate him.
Yeah.
Because he does this thing where he goes, this game is a masterpiece. And then he spends 6 hours complaining about the game. And I go, do you fucking like this thing? And I feel like everyone's like that now, where they're like, this is a great game, but I hate this, I hate that, I hate that. Everyone's just like expecting perfection over and over again. When you go on, you know what, Shadow of the Erd Tree is actually from Soft's worst DLC, but it's actually really good, but I still hate it. And you're like, fucking shut up.
Is that not just internet people profiting off negativity? Because that's what you have to do.
Maybe. I have a belief that most people are like inherently reasonable.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to assume that people are like illogical. But then I think people just get stuck in like the pipeline of like, you can't just like something because liking something's cringe. Like, because you need to be critical. You know what I mean? You need to be logical of stuff. And just think like, I don't even know.
Well, I suffer bad for the opposite of that, because sometimes you're like, why do you think this way? I'm like, I just fucking like it. Doesn't fucking. What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
And then whereas like I'd almost I feel more than I think more.
You're a good vibes only girly.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas
I go
I'm
like
a bad vibe
I like the feelings it gives.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I'm pushed on reasons to back that up, I'm like, why can't you just let me have a good time?
I think that's it. I think the way that you
For a
look
good time and a long time, Josh.
you look at these things and you go like, what games do you like? If you don't like Elden Ring, and again, I know it's not for everyone, right? Like a friend of mine, Joe's like got his leg all busted up, so he's just got a lot of free time, and he's like, this game is really hard. And I'm like, I just gave him the speech. I was like, look, you're probably going to quit this game and come back in like 3 months, so I wouldn't worry about it. Like everyone has to do. It's what everyone does. But I think I think we can all agree it's a very good game. Apparently not.
I was having the thought earlier today, is there such thing of genuine subjectivity when it comes to this sort of thing? Like, can you subjectively say Elden Ring is great?
I can.
Surely.
I can subjectively say that.
Am I? Oh, sorry. I meant the opposite. I meant the fucking opposite. Objectively.
Do you see that, guys? Did you see that? He said subjective when he meant objective. What a fucking fool.
I love Josh, but I actually hate him.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Is there such thing as true objectivity?
Yeah.
Sorry, like
In like a moral, in a moral sense, no. In a game sense, yes, because you can. If I programmed you a game,
I think the fact
then
that
we would see objectively how bad it was very quickly.
I think the fact that people can actually make games, I think, is impressive in and of itself. Because obviously we can shit on stuff, we can shit on things that people make because we experience things and everything is compared to everything else. But when someone makes something, anything, I think that's inherently impressive.
I think this with every song I listen to, I think this could be or is someone's favorite song.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me.
Right.
And I assume it must be the same for games. Maybe it's different. But I think, you know what? It's really easy to shit on things. And I do often because it's fun and it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, no. There you go. But I always think that, you know, like if this can be someone's favorite thing in the world, like fair enough, not liking something. But I think I don't like stuff, but I don't think I'm ever like, actually, it's I think you'll find it's a terrible game, and this
like
is
it's fun to shout at each other about our opinions. That's fine, but when you genuinely believe that, like, if someone likes a game and you go, "Well, you shouldn't like that game because of this reason, this and this and this," like,
like what's it called? If you like Sprung, I like Sprung, power to you. But who gives a shit? You know what I mean? That's the thing that's like, it's why I was talking about YouTube critics, is that they obviously have like a very big audience, but they do always try and present themselves as like, I am correct. And it's always critical and negative. It's never like Elden Ring is objectively the greatest game ever. I think I would actually like to see someone be that meticulous and do a 2-hour video of just complete positivity, but you never do. It's always like, this mechanic could be better. And they always talk like the game designers. You know what I mean? Like they're part of the FromSoft team. You know what I mean? It's like Calvin, you know, in films and music, and they're like, oh, I would have changed this shot or I would have played this differently. It's like, yeah, but you're worthless, aren't you? Because you're not part of the band or the crew. You know what I mean? Like,
you never looked at a line of code in your life.
Exactly. That's the thing. I was thinking about this because obviously everyone's thought about being a YouTuber at some point. I was like, oh yeah, it could be fun to do game things. And I was like, I remember I was playing like Thief. Because I was like, you know what? No one's talking about Thief. And there was a thing, like a mechanic, which I didn't like. And I was like, how would I fix that? And I spent probably like a week just in the back of my mind being like, how would I fix that? And then I realized it was like, it's not my job to fucking fix this. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever had this, Calvin. Maybe it's different because you probably know more musicians, but if people have actually criticized your music to your face. But have you ever?
They have.
Have they actually? But in a lot of ways, I think you can respect someone being like, not my thing. I mean, it's hurtful. And someone saying this is shite is obviously, you just immediately disregard it.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost, it's too far in one direction. Yeah.
But if someone's like, oh, I wouldn't have chosen to do that there. I would have done this instead. You're just like, who the fuck are you?
But at the same time, do you need to be a master at a thing to criticize that thing?
I think you can say like the balance of flavors are off. And you can even do it yourself and change it up and say, I think that's better. But you can't be like, oh, I think Gordon Ramsay should have done this differently. I would have done it this way. Like, you're not though, are you? You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird thing where I think you can criticize the thing itself, but trying to change it, I don't think giving like that kind of feedback is a critic's job. It's not your job to say how to make something better. It's your job to just say whether it's good or bad to you. If you say, this is how I would do it, I'd make it better, go and get into the industry. Because I guarantee it. Like, I have this thing, I've probably said to you, whenever you get a new manager in a place, I call it bright ideas, where you might have been in a workplace for a long time. You get someone above you who's joined who probably isn't part of that business, and they're like, oh, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? And all of the middle, and everyone underneath them is like, well, there's a reason. We've already tried that. You know what I mean? So when this like YouTube critic who, like you say, has never seen a line of code in their life and definitely has not coded to the level of fucking FromSoft triple A game of the fucking half decade level, to him just be like, Actually, I would do this different. Objectively, you can't dodge this attack, and it's like you have no idea what you're talking about.
I think all forms of art and media like that are offerings. They're offerings to enjoy it,
Yeah.
and not an inherently not an invitation.
Yeah.
So to choose that, to,
Okay, yes.
like they're
I like
not,
that.
they're not. Nobody's
up, you're putting
making
down.
stuff to go. Hey,
What do you think about this?
What do you? How do you think I should do this? It's an offering of look what I've done or we've done.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've made this thing. Give us money if you want to enjoy.
No, I think that's right on the head. Because if you say, "What do you think about that?" That's a jam session, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
What that's you saying this isn't finished.
This isn't collaborative. Well, sometimes I think early access is that.
That is the slice.
That is
to be that.
That's
Yeah.
the jam session.
Yeah, absolutely. That you've got. Yeah, again, Calvin. Say Calvin's like dialed in like a laser, like a laser beam. Dare I say phaser beam? Anyway, I do dare say.
Here he is, Josh Phaser Beam Black in the studio.
What were we talking about? Yeah, early access is the only thing. Is the only thing that is better. I think the big one is in like multiplayer games. Sometimes you'll have someone who's like a Honda god, and I'd be like, "Why have you done this? I don't think they should do this." But even then, I think you probably don't know what you're talking about. You're in too deep.
Yeah. Yeah, fighting games specifically is a really weird one because that's the entire internet discourse as being into the Street Fighter YouTube world for the past couple of years. That's everyone is just constantly complaining because the game comes out and everyone learns what the best things are and then demand patches from the developers. Like, this is broken, this is shit, this is whatever. But like it doesn't deny all the things. Like if someone picks the worst character and is better at you than the game, they will beat you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that almost, and they probably have a harder job because of the way that it's not finely tuned to the way that other people like it. But the fact that can happen, it's like, should you not like? I know talking about Melee is hack, but the fact that game iterates on itself through just years and years of people finding out more and more shit about it.
They'll never solve
what do they call that? Divergent gameplay? Is that the phrase? There's a phrase for it.
I was just going to say rock, paper, scissors. I think that's what happens is like Melee specifically, getting away from the point, is really interesting meta-wise because you can't patch it. So what it is this. And then obviously Fox is the best character in the game.
Yeah.
And everyone gets really good at the Fox matchup. And now Fox isn't the best character in the game. Now it's Peach because Armada's really good. Yeah. But no one can play Peach like Armada, so she goes down, and then
Amsa comes wrong with like Yoshi.
Yeah,
like,
he wins.
what the fuck happened?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's what I like about that is that it's more like
that's
a
what
wheel.
I mean. But in the modern sphere, me and my friend Liam were talking about this. Is like he only plays Melee. He's a massive Melee fan. Of course.
Jesus Christ,
we used to go to Melee.
That's like the model train set of the game. I think. Where you're like, fair enough that you do that, but that is an admittedly weird hobby.
He plays 2 games now: Flight Simulator and Melee. This is life, and I respect it.
Excellent. You can't do anything but respect that. You know what I mean?
That's the grind.
One
monitor flight to Vancouver.
Calvin, what's the musical equivalent of playing a game from like 2002?
Only playing a game from 2002.
Yeah. Only playing a Nintendo game from 2002.
I think you meet people that are very specific to one genre, like metal dudes.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Like, it would be like playing
metal
new
dudes.
metal. That would be it, wouldn't it? Yeah.
No, but that's now cool again. New metal's come back around along with Creed.
New metal,
just a metal
new
dude.
metal is and never was cool.
Yeah, but it's chic, internet chic now. Like people are talking about Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit again. Same way they're talking about Creed.
The exception.
Linkin Park are fucking fantastic.
There we go. Anyway, what were you saying about Liam?
We were talking about what it's like because you can't get that anymore because we can patch games.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think the level of connection, like Calvin, you said before, it's an offering. Led Zeppelin, going back to Jimmy Page, as it always seems to. They were like, here's our album. Fucking take it or leave it. then they took it. There's something, I think there must be something really freeing about not having any interaction with your fans and just being like,
Imagine you can patch riffs in an album.
oh,
In
I could
fact-
genuinely see that happening at some point.
In
You know,
fact,
they'll,
Meshuggah did that with
Well, there's
nothing.
of course they do.
that. People release like Star Wars special editions,
Yeah.
Hands
and
head.
they fuck and he fucked with the films, and he fucks
Yeah.
like and like
Yeah.
people don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a musical artist releasing a piece of music that wasn't specifically remixes. and, like-
Ooh. They've never fixed a song, have they?
Never fixed
There's
it,
something
no.
maybe about like the time commitment of music. Like realistically, the
Yeah.
longest song you're gonna have to listen to is maybe 10 minutes. And I really think if you don't like a song, you'll listen to 2 or 3 and then you'll skip.
Yeah.
I already told you guys about my method, which is you get 30 seconds total. You get 10 seconds at the beginning. You get 10 seconds where I think the first chorus is, and you get 10 seconds where I think the bridge before the final chorus is. And if it doesn't hit at any of those points, you're dead. You're dead too, mate. You're dead.
Yeah, but like,
But with games, I guess like you've got what baffles me though is like is an old joke about people on Steam where you'll see a negative review and it'll be like Counter-Strike is the worst fucking game I've ever played. Stupid, unbalanced, blah 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 blah. I hate this game. Do not buy it. Do not spend any money on it. And then next to that comment, it will have 16,000 hours played.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where it's like, how can fair enough, you're pissed off because you lost the match. That's maybe a different thing. But to go like these guys, they always go like, I'm just harping on Elden Ring because everyone talks about that. But like Souls games, they'll be like, this is one of the greatest games. It's a pinnacle. It's what games should be aiming to be. It's what it should be. And then they spend genuinely like 3 hours complaining about it. And it's like, do you actually like this thing then? If you can find that much to nitpick about.
well, no, I think, well, if you look at like I think of Anthony Fantano.
I don't like him.
I used to, and I've went off him as the years, but he used to talk about things like
He's got weird.
you can, yeah, it's got a bit weird, hasn't he? But I think negativity for a lot of people who criticize it in that way comes from a place of wanting the thing that you really like to improve.
Yeah, but again, it's not about improving.
No, it's just
It's not your job to improve and get. I think that's the thing is that you've got it's a weird pseudo. It's people role playing. I think they role play. Number one, they lie about what kind of player they are and their skill level. League of Legends was fucking notorious about that. Is that everyone all of a sudden was high diamond to challenger, which was the top tier when I played, sort of thing. Everyone was diamond. When like 60% of the player base was silver, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Everyone inflates how good they are at the game. Everyone inflates their understanding of the game. And people will just take something that they'll just take, even if it's not true. If it fits their point, they'll just do that. And like, and I think they create these little circles where they act like they are really intellectual and that they could do better. And it's not about that critic thing, like you said, about making a meal of like, oh, why don't you just do it better? But I think that has to come into it at some point. Like if a talented musician, if you or Calvin talked about an album and talked about, say, the production and said, this isn't good because of this, or this does, maybe not the music side, but like this doesn't work, I don't like this, blah, blah, blah. I would respect your opinion more for having experience in that thing.
Yeah.
If someone who's never listened to that type of music goes like, oh, this is terrible, I go,
Well,
okay,
yeah,
I don't really.
You have no context of why you
Yeah.
think that's terrible.
I don't.
It's an uneducated.
It's like the
opinion of
surface
what
level
this is,
thing,
yeah.
which isn't wrong, but it's also easier to disregard. But it's when someone inflates their thing of being like, oh, I actually know loads about this thing. It's like Dunning-Kruger thing. You know, they act like they're way more knowledgeable and they're way more objective and all this king. But in reality, it's just like, are you just having a bit of a whinge because everyone else is and it feels quite good to complain about something? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
I feel like I never hold on to criticism for too long.
No.
Like I very much there's too many games to play. There's too much art to consume to almost be that arsed about it.
Exactly.
But it's people trying to make YouTube careers and shit, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, I
because
mean-
people will always watch somebody complaining about something. I'll like. I really liked The Last of Us 2. I really liked it. It was really good. It was really good. It had a buff woman, and I love buff women. And
Godspeed.
and the internet apparently don't like buff women, I see how many followers the buff women people I have.
A lot of people.
I say
lot.
there should be some crossover there fucking somewhere. Don't know what's happening in these comment sections, but they're not there. But I watched a lot of videos of people who really didn't like it. And I like watching those videos of someone having almost the complete opposite opinion I did. Almost like weirdly have this dialogue in my own head about it of like, oh, I can see why you thought that, but no, you're wrong because this is my interpretation of it.
Yeah, I there's one of those weird things, isn't it, about internet? Because again, I think most people, if you were to sit them down, if you were to stretch them in,
Sit down, what do you mean?
this person, this internet commenter,
Lock in.
yeah, if you were to helicopter their gurney into the studio or whatever, and they sit there and you were to have a conversation with them, they're really fat, so I'm making their arguments seem worse because, you know, we judge them as people.
They don't look after themselves.
Exactly. So how could they make a good argument? But I think if you just sit down and talk about it, they would be far, far more reasonable. I think like 90%, probably more, would be very reasonable to be able to have that conversation with you. I don't know. It's like, ooh, that's the nature of comments. But it's the same thing where it's like, fair enough. You're a grifter. I don't respect you for just whinging about popular games that people like to drive engagement. Like, I think that's really lame and doesn't help anything.
I feel like people.
I think it's really cowardly, actually, Joe.
Fuck's sake, Joe. What are you doing?
But
Get in the treadmill, lad.
I think that's the thing. Is it like is these people, these really fat, stupid, smelly people who disagree with my opinion online,
Comment on our TikTok.
exactly. I think a lot of why they feel about how they feel is because there is popular people who are like, you should complain about games because your job is to make better games. Games won't get better unless you, unqualified person whose only claim to comment is that you've played a lot of games. You know what I mean? Like, that's most people's thing. Calvin, would you really criticize a game? I know you've played games throughout your life, but would you feel as comfortable criticizing a game as you would maybe a piece of music or a film or something?
Oh, God, no.
Exactly.
No, not at all.
And I would never criticize someone's music. I've never criticized your music, Calvin, actually.
Josh actually has lots of good words about your music. It's
I
quite
know,
sweet.
it's really sweet. It's nice.
It's a rare treat, Calvin, so enjoy it.
I really appreciate it.
And I will be reviewing your EP when it comes out on the podcast.
Yeah.
And tearing it to fucking shreds.
Track by track, listen.
Tear down.
We'll rate them individually.
A light 4.
That's it, right? Like, so is it like going back to the experience thing? Like, your only claim to be able to comment on this is that another game maybe did something similar in a way that you enjoyed more, because you have no comprehension of how difficult that code is. You know, like
The inner mechanics of what went.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I can see a lot of people's perspective of you shouldn't need to know. You shouldn't need to know how the fucking sausage is made, really, to enjoy an end product. Again, if someone is making something for you to enjoy, and I do feel like there is the I've made this, enjoy if you like, but there is also people trying to sell products, and they're trying to, obviously depending on the game and the game company behind the game, of how many people that they're trying to sell that thing to.
Can I just say quickly, I think there's a big difference between saying you shouldn't buy this game because it's broken or it doesn't work or it's predatory in its pricing. Like any of the external things is really, really different from saying I don't like it. I think if you don't like it, realistically, all you can actually meaningfully say about it is I don't like it because of this reason. For people who feel similarly, they can go, okay, I probably won't like that game. That's why you like your little boy. What's his name? Mr. Beast. What's his name? That little guy.
Hey guys, I've given 10 copies of Elden Ring out to this African village.
Okay.
No PS5s.
That seems really predatory. I don't know anything about him. Who's the one you like?
Skill Up.
Skill Up. I was going to say
Australian
Giant
affiliate.
Bomb, so we were getting worse. Then. I've barely touched the microphone.
You know, I'm proud of you. You've done well.
Yeah, like the whole thing of a critic, isn't it? Is that a critic is you get 100 people in a room, they'll all have 100 different opinions, but you know enough will overlap that a critic can say you should listen to this. This was really good, and you go, yeah. It's probably the big reason I don't really like Anthony Fantano is I don't really agree with a lot of his taste on me. Like I respect his opinion to be like this is a light 6. You know what I mean? T-Pab was like or was it Dam is only a 7 or whatever.
Yeah.
it's obviously not.
I think when you're getting into scores, it's so it's such
Yeah.
a like minute details
For
in
sure.
those numbers. Like you know what I
Even
mean?
just saying though, like I think this is a bad game. You need to say why, and you can't say it's objective. I think realistically, all you can say is I didn't like this in this game, or I didn't like this in this music. It might be because say like this album I'd like less than the last album because of all these reasons. But realistically, all you can meaningfully say is that the problem I have is when people start bringing this idea of I'm an expert, I'm objective, because they're obviously not an expert, because there's that game dev Josh Sawyer who did loads of stuff on New Vegas. He's probably got a level of expertise to comment on that, but even then,
It's weird.
nowhere
Sorry
near.
to interrupt, but it's so weird that you don't really see a lot of game developers
Yeah.
criticizing games.
Oh, it
Doesn't exist,
It's got to
does
be
it,
the
really?
actor thing, though, isn't it? You never hear an actor say another film was shit. At least not until way, way after the fact. Because I think it's just bad etiquette, isn't it? Really, you never know who you're going to be
you're right.
working with.
Well, I think the phrase that comes to mind that I'm thinking about with this discussion is like, I think I heard somebody say, like, I can't remember who it was, might have been a director or something, but like nobody ever sets out to make a bad
film.
movie.
Yeah.
No one ever does that. And you think about game developers and the people actually doing the work.
Yeah.
None of them are setting out to make a bad film.
Yeah.
A bad game, sorry. Because I think what are the components of like modern games that are most criticized? Loot boxes.
Yeah.
Any kind of microtransaction.
It's everything that's criticized with the modern AAA sphere is outside of the developer's control.
It's
It's the CEOs,
restrictions that are
it's the
imposed on
board.
them through time and budget, lack of resources,
Yeah.
needs
Crunch
to make
culture.
cash.
Yeah.
That's probably where all the problems lie
Yeah,
across the board.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure every game
No, it's another
developer
good thing. Yeah.
already, these people that are writing the code already know these things.
Yeah.
that
People who
must be
criticize-
fucking heartbreaking when
Yeah.
you know that your boss has given you. You have to add these loot boxes. You have to add this microtransaction mechanic that you know as a developer that you're about to spend 1,000 hours implementing. Being like, this fucking sucks. Oh my
You know
fucking
what? I
god, and I
like
fucking have to do it.
that sucks, but I can't imagine how much worse it must feel to know your game is not good.
And you have
and
to finish
you
it.
have to finish it. You could fix it, but you just don't have the time. Like Lord of the Rings, Gollum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They apologized for it, didn't they? Before,
Yeah.
like they knew they had a bomb, and it must have been the same with Suicide Squad. They knew they just had a
Yeah.
bomb,
You
and
just have to fucking launch it. Like,
yeah, and that's so. I suppose again though that feels really different because there were reasons that those games are bad, and I think objectively again you can say this game doesn't work. Like if you buy a disc, say it's easier to think of a disc. If you buy a disc and you plug it in, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You can criticize the game if every disc doesn't work.
Look at Cyberpunk. I think
Yeah.
Cyberpunk is such a
Yeah,
perfect
yeah, yeah.
example of the conversation that we're having. Again, all of the stories that came out of the devs pleading the executives to not launch this fucking game. It's not ready for
Yeah.
anything that isn't a PC.
Yeah.
And they fucking launched it and it ruined the reputation of CD Projekt Red. But with patches and updates in the way that they've done it, they've fucking fully 180 the reputation of that game. Not probably to the level of what it should have been
No.
if it was great from the get-go. But that was never a bad game. But its technical issues made it almost unreviewable, would you
Yeah.
almost say? Like it almost null and void.
It was too much of a wall to effectively climb over. And the other thing is, right, is that I actually don't have a problem with someone saying, I don't like this because of this, or I think this game could be improved because of this, but you have to see it as a whole product. You can't say, this is a really good game, but here's all the things that are wrong with it. Because I just don't think that's genuine. I just don't think that, because I'm like that. I'm someone who will be like, I like this thing, but I can see what's wrong with it, and here's what I would like to change. And even in an ideal world, this is what I would like to see. But it's that thing of, I know better, which I don't like. And there's also the thing of it's really disingenuous to only focus on the negative.
I think it's almost a bit of a childish, and I
Yeah.
don't mean that particularly in a negative connotation. I mean when you were 10 and you had your WWE wrestling ring and you're like, the Red Power Rangers gonna fight Macho Man Randy Savage, yeah, and
That sounds like a great match,
Yeah,
by the
it'd be
way.
like you watch TV and you go like, oh well, if I were to make a game, I would make it all dragons, and I would do this, and there's almost like we've all had that sensation of being young,
Yeah.
experiencing something, and then fantasizing and daydreaming about the thing that you really want, but you're a child and a fucking idiot. So the thing that you're daydreaming about is probably objectively fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But you keep that aspect of yourself as like you always want to see what that child in you wanted to play all those years ago. And like I think something like Elden Ring for me is as close to what little Dylan wanted to play. Is like those types of games, Dark Souls, all those. That's what Dylan imagined. And I think I can look past the negative parts of those games because that ticks and itches such a specific part in me that I like. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, being young.
Well, you're right. I think at the bottom line, Macho Man. I don't think he was in the match, but RoboCop wrestled at some point. RoboCop and Sting were in a tag team together. Yeah. It was not very sick. It was pretty bad. Is that people either want to go, I don't like this, so this is bad, which is childish. I agree, but for me, it's that thing. It goes back to what you said, Calvin. I really think you put it the best, where it's like the job of a critic is not to make something better. A job of a critic is just to say, I think this is good or bad, and in general, a friend of mine.
You did say that.
You said that.
No. Hold on. Calvin, you said
my review is I'm dead smart and dead good at podcasting. Calvin, did you say that? Psych! You don't say anything good. It was all me.
No, wait, Calvin, you said something. You said
art is an offering, not an invitation.
Yes, that's what I said. That's what I meant to say. Although in lots of ways, I think
accidentally said the thing I said.
In lots of ways, I guess my point was better because it was easier to remember for me, who said it first.
Calvin,
and
I
has
give your
probably
involvement a light 5,
and has been thinking of this for the past afternoon. So maybe anyway. I can't even remember what the fuck was it. Oh yeah, a friend of mine, Nick, reviews like theatre and music and stuff like that.
Oh really?
Voluntarily.
I did not know
which
that.
is really
That's
lovely
cool.
and a really nice thing. I was talking to him about it the other day because we went to see a play together,
Nice.
which we were both very excited for, but wasn't as good as we were hoping.
Mm-hmm.
Which was really interesting because I was speaking to him about it beforehand. I was like, what do you think makes good critic, blah, 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 blah. And I read his review, and the way we were talking about it afterwards, we were kind of slaying it, to be honest. we were like, that wasn't great. This could have been done, blah, 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 blah. But when I actually read his review, it was very generous to like the performers. It was
He
very,
doesn't write for Noda, does he?
No.
Oh.
No duh.
That's awful.
Sorry, carry on.
That's even worse than saying someone else just said a point that you said and agreeing with it.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is worse than that, Dylan, actually. I think Calvin said that before. As Calvin said.
Bygones be bygones.
Yeah, and he was really generous to it. And I think that's where people get it twisted, is they go, critic, I must be critical of this thing.
Yeah.
And they never take it in the spirit that it's given, I suppose is what it is. They're never like Calvin said, no one goes out to make a bad movie. Yeah. I don't know who you stole that off, Calvin, but it's good.
That was Calvin.
Yeah, I'm sure you said that
yeah,
in 1970. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's it. I think people have just got it so twisted now that they think like commenting.
You have to be negative.
You have to be negative, and that's what makes someone a good critic.
I think that is true, though. I think you.
Oh wait, he said
It's Dave Franco.
Wow.
No, it wasn't Dave Franco.
Oh, wow.
Get that scum off my
Oh
screen.
my God, it was Dave Franco.
Was it talking about The Room?
Oh,
Must
Sam
have been.
Elliott? Who's Sam Elliott?
Oh yeah, no, we'll take Sam Elliott over that.
All right.
Some people certainly don't care, and they are.
From brainyquote.com.
Thanks for the shout out to brainyquote.com, the sponsors of this episode. This episode is brought to you by Liverpool Podcast Studios and brainyquote.com.
Find your favorite quotes today.
For when you
90%
want to
of them are Calvin Thornborough.
Guys, you know what's really good is just copying what someone else said and pretending like you said it, or pretending that someone else said something that you said and then agreeing with it. So go to brainyquote.com for all your quote needs and Liverpool Podcast Studios for all your whatever I just did.
And as Calvin says, I had a dream.
Yeah, Row, fight the power.
Yeah.
Calvin Thornborough, Tengen Topper, Gurren Lagann.
Believe in the me that believes in you, Calvin.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
That's what. Yeah, I remember when you said that to me as a when I was a small child on a giant space drill. Believe in me, who believes in you. And you know what, guys? I don't know.
Do you believe in the me that believes in you, Josh?
I believe. Yeah, I believe. You know. Huh?
Huh?
Huh? So,
Calvin
is there anything you want to add to that?
I think games are cool, and sometimes it's okay to just like something.
Yeah, like or dislike what you want, but don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Yeah,
what
don't
you
fucking come up into my steez. Don't fucking come into my face. Tell me what I shouldn't like and like.
I think I would say that
I like anime girls. What are you gonna fucking do about it?
in the words.
Tell me. What are you gonna fucking do about it, you fucking pencil neck dweeb? Come over to my house and tell me to my face that I can't like scantily clad anime girls.
That's 91.
Why did you
why
actually
just
dox
do
me,
that?
you fucking dickhead?
We should just put Calvin's address in instead.
Oh yeah.
Well, Calvin, I rate Calvin, Dox, and Dylan on a podcast a strong 9. And I think this podcast has been a masterpiece, and you should not listen to it.
No.
How's that for a hook, you fucking cunts?
Goodbye.